hungry.
Alright, so how old?
This one is Friday. Friday was a week old, or 3 weeks old on Monday. So tomorrow he'll be 4 weeks old. This green one right here. And then this one is Sunday. Sunday was born 3 weeks ago last Sunday, so this coming Sunday will be 4 weeks.
That's a good name for a bird. So Sunday, born on Sunday, gotcha.
Yeah,
cool.
and Monday was born on Monday, so last Monday was 4 weeks, and will be 4 weeks this coming Monday. So looks like we're gonna have, what, 2 yellow ones and a green one, and a bright green one this time.
When do their colors start coming in?
They started about this week, actually. It takes quite a while. First they're little fuzz balls, and slowly their flight feathers start coming in.
Now, are they all going to look the same, or do they have different colors for, like, say, male to female, age?
Males and females can have the same color. In fact, their parents are what they call seafoam green with the peach over their foreheads, and they look almost identical. So their greens can range, or yellow, can range on how much blue they have in them. So like the yellow has less blue, the more green has more blue. And every once in a while you can actually get a blue one, which are very rare.
Okay, so if you have babies, what do you got to do with these? You got to feed them, of course, so how do you go about feeding them?
First, the parents take care of them up until the baby's eyes open.
Okay.
Or start to open. You want to get them out just before they open, so that way they imprint on you instead of the parents, so you can hand train them. If you don't want them hand trained, of course you can let the parents raise them.
So what's in the food?
I believe it's just a ground up millet. So it's just a ground up seed.
This would be like what they would eat if they were out flying around doing their natural environment kind of thing?
Yeah, after the parents chew it up and regurgitate it and spit it out for them. So we get it in a powder, and you mix it with some hot water.
You get the powder at the store then, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just at the bird store or pet store. You get these little syringes. This is a 5cc syringe. We like to use the best because we know that's basically one serving when they're very young.
Okay.
Now they're eating anywhere from 10 to 15 cc's. So
this is something that the average person could do then?
Absolutely.
Alright.
So I kind of clean it off so you can look at it and make sure there's no air bubbles. Because birds do not burp. They don't fart. So
they have to eat whole without air.
Right.
Okay.
So you make sure there's no air in it. And then just pick one to start out with. I believe this one's Monday. It's a little bigger than the other one. Or Sunday, actually. So kind of get them settled. They already know this because we've been feeding them for about 2 weeks now. And then you just slowly put it in their mouths. And they'll just lick and kind of swallow. It doesn't have to be terribly slow. If you watch the plunger, it's actually going pretty quickly.
Now, do these birds, do they have any water? Do they drink water during the day, or is this their everything, like water?
This is everything. So it's kind of thin, so it's got quite a bit of water in it. You'll start introducing water to them probably in the next few days. So do like a little syringe of water and give them a little bit. We'll also start introducing seed to them in their little box or cage. We'll actually be getting rid of the box pretty soon. Put seed in there so they can learn what it is, get used to seeing it, they'll play with it, they'll eat it. And that's part of when you wean them off.
How long do you wait to wean?
Weaning takes about a month and a half to 2 months, depending on how soon you can get them to eat the seed. The seed's kind of hard, so it takes them a little while to get their jaws powerful enough to break the seed.
Right, okay. So they got to learn to eat seed them, so they play with it first like children do.
Right. So that's why you kind of put it in their cage and let them look at it, play with it. Then they'll taste it and know that they can eat it. With our first set, we actually let the mom and dad back with them when they got to the point where they had their feathers. And the mom and dad helped them eat and learn how to do the seed too at the same time as we were feeding them. So with lovebirds, you kind of get lucky that way. Some of them will still take care of the babies even though they've been out of the cage for several weeks.
Okay. So they remember their own kind.
They do. Alright. So see, Monday's starting to spit it out a little bit. It's getting a little full.
Do you ever have a situation where a bird won't take all the food that you try to give them? Say they're like a line or two.
When they get older, they stop wanting to. There's a point that you force them a little bit to make sure that they're getting enough to eat. So, because this one's a little younger than the oldest, 10 cc's can be a little much. You can also tell this is their belly.
Oh, he looks
that
full.
way just filled up. So you can see how much he's eaten. You can see it back here on their neck. So he's pretty full.
Looks like he could pop.
Yeah. So that one's done. So that one was Sunday. Monday's the youngest. So you can see he's a little smaller. We'll get them out together and you can see just 1 day difference.
Wow,
how
that
much
is amazing.
Smaller.
Just 1 day.
1 day. And this one is the largest, is 3 days older than
Monday. You can definitely tell he's going to be a darker one.
2 days older than Monday, and you can see how much bigger he is.
Wow.
Of course, we don't know if it's really he or a she.
Yeah, how do you go about finding about sex on these?
You actually have to have DNA testing to be positive. When they're about a year old, there's some bones back by their ears that you can feel that they're a little bit wider for the female, but it's not a definite answer. So the only way to be positive if they're male or female is to do DNA testing.
Gotcha, okay, that's cool.
So, come here, Friday. You stay while I feed Monday. Okay, Monday. This one gets a little ornery eating because it thinks it's starving. Yes, you do. Don't you hold still.
Wow, he looks like he never ate before.
Right?
This ain't your last meal, buddy.
That's the way he feels. And this one will eat and eat and eat. This one I'm actually stop. Because I think he'll eat until he pops.
Is that a possibility that could happen?
You know, I haven't heard of that. You basically, when we started, we got a feeding schedule for them and followed it.
Okay.
So there's an online site that we looked at and found that at certain weeks how much they eat or should eat. They give you a range for, like, when we first pulled them, as their eyes were opening, that's like 1 to 2 weeks. They say 3 to 5 cc's. So they give you a range of what they're supposed to eat. Before the next cycle, before the next feeding cycle, you'll know that they should be eating more. Come here, Sunday. Or excuse me, Monday. Come here, I got some more for you. Need some more? Oh yeah. So Monday, because Monday is quite a bit younger, I'm probably only going to give about 8 cc's. Because again, he'll eat until
he pops.
It looks like he's going to pop. So we're going to stop here and look at his belly. And he's pretty darn full.
Whoa.
And he still thinks he wants some. But I think we're going to stop for you, little guy.
For your own good, buddy.
Alright, you in there. Okay, Friday. Friday is going to be a little bit bigger. He can eat about 12 to 13 cc's.
He looks like a big bird.
Yeah, he's 3 days older than the youngest. Now, I've had a lot of people ask, well, how come they get born different days? Well, the eggs are laid different days.
Right, and there's a gestation period. And
right, so that's the biggest question I run into when I've talked to people like at work and stuff is, well, how come they're born on such different days?
Well, it's kind of like humans, you know, if you did your, love making on a Sunday or a Tuesday, or you wouldn't be exact date.
Right.
Plus period of time of conception and, fertilization, that could be, anywhere from 0 to a couple days, so.
Okay, so that one had a big bubble in it.
That would have been bad. How do you go about getting the bubbles out?
Kind of knock it against something, like I was knocking it against the desk here. This brings the bubbles up to the top, and then you can squirt them out without wasting a lot of food or starting over. So as you can see now, there's no more bubbles in there. And usually I can get it without bubbles. If you get the syringe in just right in the food and don't let air get into the bottom.
So be completely submerged.
Right.
Gotcha, okay.
And you have to watch because as you pull it sinks in, and you can get a bubble in there. So you just make sure you get the bubbles out. And it doesn't have to be extremely perfect. I mean, a tiny bubble isn't going to hurt them, but if they get a lot, it's a problem.
Right, because they don't have the means to escape air.
Right. Okay.
Oh.
See, he thinks he's starving, but he's a messy eater.
He's a big bird. I mean, compared to the rest of them, he's big.
Yeah, 2 to 3 different days does a big difference.
In just 3 days, yeah.
Right?
It's amazing. Chug, 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 chug.
This one should be eaten at 10 to... Dude, you're not even close. Get back here. See, he's being finicky. He doesn't want to... He wants to eat, but he doesn't. He's at the age where he can check out the world.
He's ready to fly the coop.
In close. See, if you watch him, his feet are much more underneath him than the other babies were. He doesn't flail his wings as much. Because he's older, he can actually walk and stand up.
You can actually see the food on them right there, right? In the upper?
Yep. Right in here.
Is that where their stomach is, or is that like a holding sac?
I think it's a holding thing before the gizzard. Because birds have a gizzard that help process their food. Or digest their food. Alright, come on, little one. You need some more. So right now, we only feed them every 5 hours. So we gotta make sure they get anywhere from 8 to 10 cc's so they can last that long. Yeah,
So in the beginning, you're feeding these birds every 5 hours.
The beginning, when you first pull them, is actually every 4 hours.
Oh, they get extended as they get older.
Yeah.
Okay.
And as they get older and you're putting seed in their cage, they start eating that, so you extend longer and longer, and that's how you wean them off of the baby food.
Oh, so you force them into eating the seed.
Basically.
Oh, that's cool. No, this is great because, you know, people, if you want to do lovebirds, yeah, it is a time-consuming hobby, but I'll tell you what, these birds, they are pretty. They're great to relieve your stress. Birds, you can tell anything, and they won't talk back to you. They will squawk, though.
Oh, yeah. In fact, after we're done with this little bit here, we'll get Squeaks out. Squeaks was born in November, so she's one of the first babies that we've had, and she's completely hand-trained. She loves to be loved on and petted. So we'll put the babies back in here. They do have a regular cage, but under the cage there is a heating pad that we turn on. Here, this pad stays on for 10 hours, so you don't have to reset it. This keeps them warm.
What's the temperature that the lovebirds have to be at?
They have to be between 70 and 75. You do want to keep them kind of warm. They're getting older to where they can tolerate a little better.
No, they're sleeping. They're getting tired.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, food's hitting them.
They eat, sleep, and poop.